This video is sponsored by PoketownStore.com, the place for all your Pokemon TCG online needs. If you're looking for the new Rebel Clash booster packs, they also have those on stock, so definitely check them out, PoketownStore.com. Also, if you use the coupon code ZapdosTCG, you get 5% of your next order. How cool is that? It's time for us to get serious. We get a new card Eternatus. Dragon Ball will now be furious, cause the dark types will be victorious. Yo, first of all, we get a Crobat. It's Shaymin in disguise, we know that. 2050, what a throwback. Let's draw them cards and make a comeback. We also get that Roast Arrow, giving reset stem that cold shower. Using a strict will increase our consistency and unleash power. Or how about the new Salamence? 30 on everything is just quite intense. Think about Sableye and we can't command. Making a new spread that does make sense. Yes! Episode 246, Infinity Zone, First Impressions. What's up YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here and welcome back to another episode on my channel. In this episode we're going to be talking about the Infinity Zone. This is a new set revealed in Japan and this is going to be a huge set and also will take part of our Darkness Ablaze set in August. So it's actually worth taking a look at all these fantastic new cards. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. If you are enjoying the daily content, be sure to spam that like button. You know I always appreciate that and it does help out the channel tremendously. Okay, this is going to be a sneak peek. We have a lot of cards to talk about and some of these cards will have a huge impact on the meta game. Some of these cards, actually most of them, I think all of them to be honest, will be released in Darkness Ablaze, but that's not certain just yet. But I think, in my opinion, they will be in that set. That means that when the next season rolls around, the 2021 season, we can actually start using these cards to get CP and maybe go to local tournaments if they are still a thing after the coronavirus subsides. So we'll see how it goes, but for now, let's check out these fantastic cards. First card on the list is a Houndoom V. Its first attack just smacks 20 damage and lets us burn the opponent's active Pokemon. So not too shabby. It does have 210 HP and only a 1 retreat cost for a basic fire starter, which is actually not bad. This can be in a welder box because its second attack is actually not bad. It actually smacks 100 damage, and if any of your fire types have any damage counters on them, this attack does 100 more damage. So this can be easily tricked around. You can just welder and then use Rainbow Energy for the turn. That could be a thing. But if Rainbow Energy rotates, you're gonna have to find another way to put that 1 damage counter onto yourself. Maybe you guys have a great strategy for it, but 200 damage for 3 energies is very good. Definitely considering the fact you're a fire type, you hit weakness against popular Pokemon like Zacian, and also if you smack 200, you can even go for those crazy VMAX Pokemon like Rillaboom if they see play, or even the gigantic metal types in the form of Copperajah VMAX. Very interesting to see. So Houndoom, not bad. I like the card. Maybe a one-of in the Welder box. Next up is Drednaw V. This actually has an ability, Hard Shell. It takes 30 less damage from attacks, and it already has 210 HP, so it's kind of tanky, and it also has an attack smacking 130 damage, and the defending Pokemon cannot retreat during their next turn. So you can trap certain Pokemon in the active position and then try to go for the 2-shot. The most important thing is that this guy has a built-in buffer, because that reduction of 30 damage will be huge for the numbers. Let's say a Zacian with Brave Blade smacks 230 damage. Well, I'm sorry, you just smacked 200. You're not knocking this guy out, which is already good. Next up, we of course have Drednaw V Max. Water has energy acceleration thanks to the form of Frostmoth from Sword and Shield, so we can take this guy serious. It has the same ability, Hard Shell. Being able to get 30 less damage from the opponent's attacks is always nice. And then it has the Max Stone Surge. It actually smacks 160 damage, and you flip a coin of heads, you dish out 80 more damage. So the attack is pretty mediocre. It also is weak to lightning. If Pikarom will still be around after rotation, I don't think so because of electric power and all that, but it could still be around. It has good speed thanks to the speed lightning energy, so lightning will still be a dominant type, I think, thanks to Tapu Koko Prism Star surviving the rotation. So this being weak to lightning gets me a little bit concerned, but it is kind of tanky, so maybe it can be used for other purposes, maybe as a defensive stall mechanic, who knows. Next up, we have Galarian Cursola. Cursola has a very interesting Pokemon, always has crazy abilities. This time around it comes as a V Pokemon. It is weak to darkness, which will be a huge problem, but more on that later in this video. You're gonna see all of the new cards and my first impressions on them. So this guy has an ability, Eating Aura, as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon. When your opponent attaches an energy from their hand to one of their Pokemon, put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. This is insane because, as a little example, certain decks like Welder decks attach multiple energies from the hand. For example, yeah, you're up against a Baby Blounce list and they just attach an energy from the turn, 3 damage counters. They use Welder, again, 3 damage counters, 3 damage counters. That's already 9 damage counters on there. And then you just have to snipe 3 damage counters around. Maybe use some little bit of sniping. Maybe the Mew with side power afterwards. You can actually get a lot of things done. But this also has damage counters as its attack. Smacking 60 to the active. Then you can put 3 damage counter on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon any way you like. So against decks that rely on multiple attachments, this could be good. Also thinking about the fact we saw that Unknown Hand deck that I was talking about earlier this week, is that Unknown Hand also attaches multiple energies thanks to the ability of Porygon Z that automatically knocks out the Molgas, which could be a huge deal if you want to counter like the Unknown deck. Just promote Cursola V and it's done with. So very interesting to say the least. Next up is a new fighting type. Fighting types will be a huge anti-meta type to pick because a lot of darkness types will be OP and you hit weakness against them. This can be used with, of course, the Colossal from Rebel Clash, being able to accelerate those fighting type as well as fire type energies instantly. And seeing as this guy only needs 1 fighting energy for both of its attack, it's going to be paired with, of course, Colossal. It's a basic Pokemon, Rhyperior, 230 HP, which is, I think, the highest we've seen. It's the same amount of HP like Zamazenta V from Sword and Shield, so 230 for a basic, very tanky. And it also comes back with the first attack being able to discard one of the opponent's energies. So if the one of the opponent's active's energy. So let's say you have this in the active, your opponent has something in the active, you can discard an energy with the first attack. Well, the damage output is also good enough to one-shot a Jirachi, which is good, things like Mew, Inkay, etc. And then we also have Heavy Rock Cannon, being able to smack 210 damage. It does need 4 energies to do that, and yeah, you cannot use this attack during your next turn. Actually, this is gonna be, I don't know how to feel about this. 210 does get the huge one-hit KOs, but I think Sandaconda is better. Sandaconda discards your energies, while this guy remains its energies and you can just switch around to reset the effect. But I think Sandaconda in that regard is a little bit better. So I don't know if Rhyperior will see any play. Could be as a one-off in, of course, the Colossal decks. Next up is Ariados. Ariados, whatever you pronounce it, it has a great ability. It's a Darkness type. I keep saying that Darkness will be good, so keep your eye on this fella. Hopefully the Spinnerack is also Darkness type. If it is, we're gonna have a good time. I know that all the poison types gets categorized as the darkness types nowadays, so hopefully that will be the same thing for the Spinnerack. If it is, then you can start playing it with the darkness deck Eternatus. More on that later. But this guy has a wicked ability with Spider Net. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may switch one of your opponent's evolution Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So it's pretty much like Gusting, aka Boss's Orders, aka Lysandre, aka Pokemon Catcher successfully landing on a coin flip heads. You can just gust up, but only evolution types. Why is this good? A lot of VMAXs will be boosted with this set. We already seen that Rebel Clash put up Dragapult VMAX on the map, Toxtricity VMAX, maybe even things like Inteleon even. So we do see that VMAXs see more and more play, and with, of course, the addition of this Spider Net ability, you can even use your supporter, like use research and just dig for Ariados. Because you're gonna have a huge bench with your Darkness deck, you might as well slap a Spinnerack on the bench, and then you can keep using it if you have Scoop Up Net, which is also good. So seeing as this, I think this will see play. Ariados, Gusting is always good. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready to see the most busted new card? We already talked about it before. We had Shaymin-EX, followed it up by Tapu Lele GX, followed it up by Drednaw GX. And now there's a new category, actually a new Pokemon joining that category of consistency cards, and that's going to be Crobat V. Crobat V has an ability, and it's the exact same thing like the Shaymin here. So you can slap it down and draw cards until you have 6 cards in the hand. They did implement the additional text here that you cannot use more than 1 Night Asset ability during your turn, so you can only use it once a turn, which is a little bit more balanced than we saw with Shaymin. That also has 180 HP, and I think this is gonna be in almost every deck if we lose the Drednaw at one point, or maybe certain decks do not like discarding stuff, they will opt to go for discard instead of the Drednaw. What are the benefits of using this over the Drednaw? First of all, you have more HP, so you survive things like Venom Shot, you survive things like Tag Bolt GX, you survive Snipe Shot from Cramorant V, you survive. That's the main important factor here. You're not as fragile as other scenarios like the Drednaw was, and Shaymin-EX as well. So this is good. Also, the fact that you only have 1 retreat cost will be automatically put in every deck. I find it very strange that it has weak to fighting, since it is a flying type typically, so maybe they just consider fighting as the rock type. That can understand that weakness, but still, it's not weak to lightning, also busted, so yeah, good weakness, good ability, good HP. This will be fantastic. Definitely get your hands on some of these if the Darkness Ablaze set comes out in August. I recommend at least getting 2 copies because this is definitely gonna be worth it. Okay, next up we have a Scrafty, which typically does nothing this time around. If you played Pierce this turn, you can actually smack 90 more damage. Yeah, 180 damage. I don't think this guy will ever see play. Scrafty, not good. Hoopa, on the other hand, is good. Hoopa has always seen great cards. This time around, it doesn't have 130 HP once again. It only has 120 like the one we've seen in Unified Minds, and it actually smacks 90 damage for single energy. If this Pokemon was not moved from the bench to the active position during your turn, this actually does nothing. So, and also isn't affected by weakness. So, it's pretty much like the new Zapdos. Yeah, Zapdos used to fly into the active position, smack 80 damage, like it is. So, just 10 base damage and 70 if you came from the bench. This time around, you smack 90 damage for a single attachment. This is huge. You can actually one-shot, as mentioned, a weaker Pokemon. If you're running a Darkness deck, just slap one of these guys in your deck. Sometimes you can actually surprise opponents and dong them if you don't get what they want. So Hoopa, very good. 90 damage for 1 energy, that's very nice. You can even put up Vitality Band, smacking 100 damage for single energy, and maybe even Galarian Zigzagoon, and out of nowhere you one-shot Dragapult V for a single energy. Insane. Okay, next up, talking about it, we have Eternatus V. 220 HP, just same as Zacian, nice amount of HP. It's a Darkness types. This is not where things go crazy just yet. Its first attack, Power Assault, actually smacks 30 damage, and you can accelerate 1 Darkness energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. So pretty much like Oblivion Wing from Yveltal back in the day, but instead of the discard pile, it has to come from your hand. Not the biggest of issue. You have energy acceleration. We're gonna see more energy acceleration for VMAXs very shortly, but for now, Darkness types have some energy acceleration. Good for the Dark Box deck. If you just start with it, it's already nice. Its second attack, 120 damage, and if the opponent's active Pokemon is a VMAX, you smack 240 damage. Against VMAXs, let's say you just smack some damage, this can actually go for the 2-shot here. 240 is a huge damage. You do need 4 energies, which gets me a little bit concerned. But if you have, of course, the Weavile with the ability to move around, Dark Connection, you just move around those Darkness energies, it could be possible to smack 240, which could be enough to, like, at certain scenarios, to shot the VMAXs, even if they use Mellow and Lano, so could be interesting. And next is where everybody is losing their minds. Look at this card shining all around, Eternatus V Max. 340 HP is on the same category like Snorlax V Max, so a huge amount of HP, and it has an ability. This ability will remind you of Skyfield, for the people that played during 2015. It has the ability, if all of your Pokemon in play are Darkness, you may now have up to 8 Darkness Pokemon on your bench. And you can't play any other types of Pokemon if this ability is active. So this is interesting. So let's say you have a Dedenne on your field and some Darkness types, then the ability does not work. Let's say you have 5 Darkness types. Let's say Galarian Zigzagoon, we have a Hoopatron on there as well, some Eternatus Vs, and maybe a Crobat. So your bench is full. Well, out of nowhere, your bench gets increased to 8 slots. And this is going to be relevant for the attack here. Drednaw smacks 30 damage times the number of your Darkness Pokemon. And it also includes this as the active Pokemon. So 8 Pokemon on the bench. With this in the active position is 9. That's 270 damage. Automatically one-shotting Mewtwo, Reshizard, even Pikaram. All the tag teams go down except for ADP. But you can simply equip Vitality Band or play even Galarian Zigzagoon, which pairs really well with, of course, having bench. So you can actually one-shot any tag team whatsoever. This deck will be bonkers, insane. Not only that, you have, of course, the Crobat, so you don't have to rely on the Dedenne or Jirachi. Just play some Crobat, draw some cards, and it's gonna be fantastic for you. Just smack your bench full, and this only for 2 energies. So first turn you attach, smack some stuff on the bench. Second turn you're already good, evolve your Eternatus V, go to the V Max, smack your bench even further to 8 slots, and BAM! You explode on the opponent's face. this is gonna be see a huge amount of play. It reminds me of Mega Rayquaza of Roaring Skies. This is gonna be the same as principle. Shaymin's pretty much is the Crobat, and Mega Rayquaza is Eternatus V Max. This is a good thing because with every Darkness type you're gonna look, will I slap it in my Eternatus V Max deck because I do need to fill my bench. You could play some Absol to make sure the opponent has more retreat for their Jirachis, even though they could be playing Scoop Up Nets. It's fine to just fill up the bench with Darkness types. So same goes if Spinarak is a Darkness type, smacking a 1/1 line of Ariados, you could also have a good time right there. Also, if you have any questions about this ability, the rulings will become clear. Let's say you have this ability gets shut down by things like Galarian Weezing, then you have to discard until you have 5 bench Pokemon remaining. So yeah, very interesting. I love this card to death. It's gonna be fantastic to play around with it. It's it takes up 3 prize cards, but then again, it smacks a huge amount of damage. Next is a Scizor. This is not too good. It brings some disruption with it. Discard a tool card and a special energy from the opponent's active. But other than that, it only smacks 140 damage, so not too great. I wouldn't even put it in my Zation list, to say the least. Next up, Salamence. This is another card I adore so much. I love Tapu Koko Flying Flip. I loved it to death. This time around, we can do the exact same thing, but smack 30 damage on each of the opponent's Pokemon. 30 damage is way more than 20, and if you remember the math, if you smack 3 damage counters on something, then Sableye V can come crushing in. So I would play this with Sableye as mentioned in the rap video. So just smack 30 on everything, then Sableye can clean off. Maybe you're playing Beat or whatever, but on this scenario, it does need 3 Carless energies. So even, yeah, you could play it with Welder, that could be an option, or you could just play it with Energy Acceleration, but I think Welder is a good stuff here. Welder, maybe playing Rainbow Brush. I know I'm going to entirely crazy, but because I love the effect, so you can use Rainbow Brush, turning the fire into Darkness energies for the Sableye. So this is gonna be fantastic. 30 on everything. I know Mew from Unbroken Bonds blocks this, but at a certain point, Mew will rotate and Salamence will survive, and then we will see some huge spreading archetypes, mark my words. Okay, also seeing this as a Carlos type means that Dragon types are no longer coming back to the TCG. We've seen that Fairy types got removed or stopped printing during Sword and Shield, and I think this is gonna be the same thing with Dragon types, unfortunately. Okay, now to some trainer cards. We have Pierce. This is the card that the Scrafty needed. Search your deck for a Darkness Pokemon and 1 energy. Okay, you can search your deck for a Darkness Pokemon and a basic energy. Reveal them and put them in your hand. So pretty much like, sort of like, you can find an energy on a Pokemon, so this might be seeing some play in Eternatus since you're relying on Crobat. You can search out Crobat with this Pierce, so and also an energy, so you never whiff on the energies. Could be interesting. Then Rose, or Rose, or whatever you pronounce this fella. Choose up to 2 basic energies from your discard pile and attach them to one of your VMAX Pokemon. Ooh, this will be insane. Okay, this is not everything. Then discard your hand. Okay, you have to discard your hand, but you can accelerate to VMAXs. We can take a look at huge VMAXs that didn't see any play just yet and see immediately, wow, they could see so much more play now. Every VMAX will become better with this card. You have Energy Acceleration, only needing 2 energies in the discard pile, no problem. We have Quick Ball in our decks to just get make sure that the energies are in the discard pile. Okay, we discard our hand. This is gonna be insane. Either you play draw Pokemon, let's say you're playing Steel Valley GX. I know Steel Valley GX is not seeing a lot of play. Disc Reload, drawing some cards. You could be playing the new Stadium card here, Rose Tower. Once during your turn, that player may draw cards until they have 3 in the hand. So Instruct from Oranguru from Sun and Moon all the way back, and a Stadium effect, busted. So this set will be so insane. Definitely get your hands on some boxes with Darkness Ablaze in the beginning of August. So this is gonna be insane. Look at this Rose Tower. You can actually use Instruct as a Stadium effect. We've seen that Heat Factory subplay. I know you have to empty your hand, but what better way to do that than playing Rose? Yeah, you can just accelerate energies, discard your hand, draw some more cards, play down Crobat, and go crazy. That's gonna be fantastic. And if that wasn't even busted enough for the Darkness decks, we get Hide Energy. Hide Energy, the retreat cost of the Darkness Pokemon this card is attached to is 0. So even if they tend to use something like Galar Mine or whatever, I don't know, you can actually attach this and out of nowhere you have free retreat instantly. So this will be insane. So this is my first impression on the Infinity Zone cards that the set is going to be released very shortly, as we can see here in Japan, I think on the 5th of June. So that's going to be taking like 2 weeks time or maybe 3 weeks time, and then we can know what other cards we're seeing. But this is already a first impression just to keep you guys up to date with everything Pokemon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to destroy that like button. Let me know about all the cards that I just showcased. Which card are you looking forward to most? in my opinion, Crobat V, I love drawing cards. I used to play like Shaymin-EXs in my Pumpkaboo list, so that was my only like GX. And this could be fantastic with Twin Energy, but because if you're playing the Dene, sometimes you have the scenarios where you have to discard your Twin Energies, and I don't like that since we cannot get them back easily. And now we have just Crobat. You don't even have to like discard your entire hand. Make sure you thin out your hand and just draw. So Crobat is the card I'm looking forward to most, as well as Eternatus VMAX and Salamence. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, as mentioned, subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. You know I always appreciate that, and it helps out the channel tremendously. Anyhow, have a fantastic rest of your day. Yeah, stay safe, stay fresh, stay at home if you are still in quarantine, and I will see you guys in another video very shortly. Peace out.